5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
And it's live.
This is Leicester Till I Die TV. Watch and subscribe on YouTube and listen on your podcast platform.
Good evening. No, you've not gone back in time. This isn't Chris. He isn't this handsome. It is Brad, and this is Leicester Till I Die TV. This is the preview show. Games have been coming thick and fast, so we get a lovely break from league football anyway. We got the FA Cup. We know what that's like, don't we? We all remember that. We've won that recently. So it's not that bad a memory for us, the FA Cup. But we are partial to a few banana skins, Newquay and Wycombe, to say the least. I'm sure our guest, who is a diehard Cheltenham fan, he is a Halliwell. It's not Jerry, it's Mark. And he has agreed to leave his namesake behind and come and join us on the show. This is Leicester Till I Die TV. This is the preview show for the FA Cup game, or as it may be titled on YouTube, because Chris is, he's going up there. Just don't tell him, but he's going up there. Yeah, we are only playing Cheltenham, but it does say QPR versus Cheltenham versus Leicester. I don't know if that's on the title on YouTube or all over where this is streaming, but we are just playing Cheltenham. It's the FA Cup. It's the magic of the cup. It's something we know all about. There is another cup that Mark wants to bring up, but before we do that, let's bring him in. Our guest, Mark. How are you, devil are you, my friend?
Hello, Brad. Good evening. Glad to be here. Thanks for inviting me on.
Oh, you're more than welcome to come on. We're glad to find you on. I mean, these non-Premier League lot. We're a dying breed, aren't we, to get hold of sometimes? So we're very happy to have you on.
That's no problem there. No, it's good to be here. Looking forward to the game on Saturday. Should be a really good occasion for us to host. I mean, it's not very often that we get to host, and I will blow your trumpet here. A former Premier League champions and former FA Cup holders. They don't come to our lovely little ground very often.
No, and it's one thing that people sort of forget a fixture like this. Like I mentioned there, as painful as it was, I mentioned we've had upsets before to Newport County, the most recent, and Wycombe Wanderers. We all remember what unfolded after that Wycombe defeat. We plummeted down the table, and then the following season got relegated. So these upsets can cause it, but sometimes it goes under the radar when it's not a Premier League Cup. But like you said, the focus is still a little bit fresh on Leicester, recent FA Cup winners themselves, and obviously the Premier League trophy we won in 2016. Are you fancying Cheltenham's chances of adding to the list of banana skins throughout this competition? Because this is the magic round, as it is, isn't it?
It is. This is the round that all clubs that we're people will know we're a League Two side, and this is the round that we want to get to. This is the round that everybody hopes to get to. Hope to get through rounds 1 and 2. We beat Bradford City in the first round, which was a decent win for us. We beat them, and then we played Buxton in round 2, which could have been a banana skin for us. As it was, we were 2-1 down at half time, and we were thinking, hang on, this isn't quite going as we want it to go. but then we did manage to turn it around to 6-2. And it was funny because then we get the draw, we get Leicester at home, and some of our supporters are going, "Oh, that's a great draw," and some of our supporters are going, because it wasn't the Premier League team. Because when you get to round 3, when you're a club like us, you want that Premier League team, be at home, be not preferably away, I would say, because then you're maximising your income. But home to Leicester, I feel it's. I think we have got a chance, but I think the chance that we've got depends quite a lot on what team Marti Cifuentes puts out. If he decides that he's going to put out what he views and what you would see as a first choice team, that makes it more difficult. But he thinks FA Cup, league's more important. I'll rest a few. You never know.
Well, I mean, the problem with that is that
can he afford to do it? Yeah.
Yeah, there is that. I mean, a few times already this season, he's managed to pull a win out of the bag, and a lot of Leicester fans. I'm not sure if, and I'm going to say quick hello to them in the chat. Clibo and Prashant would be them, but they may agree with the statement that sometimes he's pulled a win out of the bag, and we've sat there and we've enjoyed the win, being supporters of the football club, but we've gone and gone, it's probably saved his job. And it's got to the point where that's continued to happen. And QPR fans said that will happen. You'll go on a dodgy run, you'll get sick of him, and then he'll win a game, maybe 2. You might go on a 3 or 4 game unbeaten streak, and you think you found he's found the right recipe to go. I mean, playing our first team at the moment might not be a bad shout. All you need to do is get pieces and score in the first 15 minutes. The stats showed where our problems are is we score, but also concede a lot in the first 15 to 20 minutes of a game. And in a league game, it's hard enough to contain that pressure. But when you're at home, and it's going to sound like a 30,000 seat stadium, because we only had about 12,000 at our game last night. Now that was due to protests and people. I know a lot of people have read probably more into that than they have done, and some have tried to soften it by saying it was the weather, it was on Sky. No, there was a lot of genuine people that just, you forget you have like probably 20,000 season ticket holders. Yes, on attendance they count, but in realistic in the stands, you're probably going to get more on Saturday than you are there. And also, I know financially it's probably better to get a Premier League tie in a sense, but you get up to 3,000 away fans allowed in power, so you're not, in that sense, you wouldn't miss out much. And also, I will give credit where it's due. I understand the negative vibe and maybe not such a good atmosphere at home, even though I kind of feel, even though we shouldn't have to have that responsibility to G the players up, if you will, our away travel is fantastic. So you'll have a packed stadium for the tie, and it's unfortunate that you don't have replays anymore. Is that something that kind of makes it even more where
a little bit.
A
little bit, I think. But I mean, as far as I can see, it's going to be a sellout, which is fantastic for us. So we're looking at a crowd, I would say, somewhere around 6,800 up to 7,000, possibly. I don't actually know how many our ground holds. I'll find out on Saturday, I think, which is fantastic for us. So it is going to sell out, well, the last time we played Everton in the Cup in 2013, and so we're looking like it's going to be the biggest crowd at Wharton Road since then. That was around 6,800. Hopefully the result won't be the same because we lost 5-1. But we're not bad. We're not on a bad little run at the moment. We won on Sunday after 2 defeats, but since Steve Cottrell came back to the club, so we've had 15 games since Steve Cottrell come back to the club, and we've taken 26 points from those 15 games, having taken 4 from our first 10. So we've turned it around quite a lot, and we are doing pretty well, and I think again, it's a tight little ground. It's the crowd are right on top of you, and again, for Leicester, it will come down to attitude. I think a lot of it will come down to the attitude of Leicester and how they approach it, how they, if they fancy it. That's what it will come down to, because the weather outside here is not great at the moment. It's blowing a howling gale and chucking it down with rain. So I don't know what it's going to be like when the actual game comes round. But that's what it's going to come down to, and we will be up for it. Steve Cottrell will. There's no doubt about that. He will have our players right up for it. There is no doubt. Don't you be in any doubt about that whatsoever. And then it comes down to, as I say, what team Marty Cifuentes puts out, and B, their frame of mind and their attitude on the day. I think they will have a big impact on how the game goes.
Yeah, I think you're right. I don't think, if you actually look at our squad, and I know people always say it's always plastered about how on paper Leicester have one of the best squads in the Championship. On paper Leicester have one of the best squads in the Championship. Yeah, well, on paper we might. If you look at statistics, and I'm not one that really goes into statistics. I mean, the host Chris, he does like to use them to his advantage. But you look at the players that maybe have them stats, they don't want to be here. They had a fallout with the previous regime. Harry Winks is one that can't get over it. He's just been sour grapes, and I've lost a lot of respect and love for him. I had a lot of respect for him for standing his ground with the original regime under Ruud van Nistelrooy, because it was a ludicrous request to ask him. I know it's not his first child, but to ask him with a newborn, it doesn't matter how many children you've had, to stay over and not spend time there and all that. But, normally when a new manager comes in and he goes to you, yeah, we're going to do this, I'm going to allow you to do that, their attitude changes. We've had a few players that we're hoping we can get rid of over the January window. So I just can't see them playing, because you play them and they're just going to be, like you said, the attitude's going to be wrong.
Well, and also, if you're trying to get rid of people, you don't want to cup tie them, because you've got the possibility that they could go to another club who are still in the cup. So that might be another possibility that you think about.
Yeah, again, they won't want to cup tie themselves either. So, and unfortunately, you do get. And it's been throughout football for years. When that is a situation, you get a player that goes, "Oh, my knee's gone. I can't. I'm not available for." No, my knee went last night. I banged it on the table. Some daft old excuse. Chris says, "Yeah, there is of course not 3 teams playing." He has edited it. Well done, Christopher. Well done, sir. He goes, although he does say even if we had QPR playing with us, we'd struggle to win, which is right. I don't know if you saw the game Monday, but I'm pretty sure the whole of the East Midlands was barricaded off because a poor West Midlands side was completely robbed blind. I mean, how we won that game, I don't know.
No. I saw some of it. Yeah, I didn't see all of it, but I did watch some of it. Yeah, and yes, I think a tad fortunate. I think you'd have to admit.
I mean,
you'll take it, of course, but a tad fortunate.
A tad's being kind to them. I mean, yeah, that's being kind to us. We robbed them. I mean, there was a meme that the post that did a float around in the social medias when West Ham lost to Wolves, and obviously they hadn't got a win. They had 2 points on the board, and someone joked that Nuno was going to get the sack for losing to the worst team to play in the Premier League. Well, I ironically said to my partner that, wow, we probably won El Sacco here because he's just lost to Leicester in daylight robbery. And it obviously led to him getting the sack. I mean, you talk about your manager. He's well known in this division. Steve Cottrell, Reading manager. He's managed in this division a fair few years. He's got bags of experience. Just what did he change in that dynamic to your squad? Because sometimes a manager, the first 6 months, whenever they come into it, they don't change too much, and then all of a sudden, bang, bang, a million changes. Has he given you that impression of what has he actually changed to take you from 4 points in 10
Well,
26 and 15.
Let's give a bit of background first. For a start off, he used to be at Leicester. He was at Leicester with Mickey Adams as part of his coaching staff, and he was actually offered the job at one point to be the manager of Leicester City, but he didn't take it. He's above the level that we're at, no doubt about it. He's a League One manager at least, so we're very lucky to have him. A lot of the reason that we do have him is because he's a Cheltenham boy. It's his club, as he's said in several interviews when I've spoken to him after games. He's referred to my club, and it very much is his club. We are lucky to have him. There's no doubt about it. He came in, as I say, we had just lost 7-1 to Grimsby. Michael Flynn, our previous manager, had got the sack the previous week when we lost 3-0 at home to Oldham in what I think is probably one of the worst Cheltenham Town home performances I've seen for many years. Then we lost 7-1 at Grimsby and had 2 players sent off. So we were in a fantastic state, as you can imagine. 4 points from 10 games and going one way, really, sleepwalking our way out the Football League at that point. But he came in, and the simple word is organisation. He came in, he organised us, he got us. He said, right, we're going to play this way. 4-3-3 is how he's been playing for most of the games. He was able to bring in a couple of free agents who made a difference. Ben Stevenson and Jonathan Tomkinson came in. They made a bit of a difference. We also had Isaac Hutchinson on loan from Bristol Rovers. Unfortunately, he's now gone back, which is a bit of a blow for us. And he's organised us, and the feel-good factor, the fact that he is a Cheltenham boy, and 26 years ago he took us into the Football League. So he is an absolute legend of this football club. There is, there's no getting away from that. Really, if they were going to put a statue up outside Wadden Road, he'd be the one that you'd put a statue of outside the ground. And he's just galvanised the whole club. He's brought the whole club together. There was a disconnect, fans, players, all that sort of stuff that you normally get when things aren't going very well, as you might know at the moment. Yeah. And that's gone. He's repaired that. And just organisation, really. He's got himself. He's settled really on a core of like probably 14 or 15 players who he trusts, who he wants to use, who he's got his faith in, and they've repaid him, as I say, with 26 points from 15 games, and now I think we're 13 points above the bottom two, and 10 points off the playoffs. We're 18th in the table, but I mean, no, I'm not looking at the playoffs. Don't think I'm doing that. Most Cheltenham people at the moment are thinking, right, we'll just stay, we'll be safe. We'll mid-table is fine, and that's where we are. I'm sure secretly, he is looking at the playoffs because that's the sort of bloke he is, and that's the sort of thing he does. But supporter-wise, we're just saying, okay, it's great that we're not looking over our shoulders and not in the terrible trouble that we were. And as I say, he will believe that Cheltenham could win on Saturday. He will believe, definitely. As I say, we lost Isaac Hutchinson, which is a blow to us. He's our top scorer. He had 5 in the league and 8 in all competitions, but Bristol Rovers have taken him back, which is their prerogative. He's their player. We had Hakeem Adelakun as a free agent, but unfortunately we've now lost him as well. His 2-month contract came to an end. He's gone to sign for Doncaster Rovers. And Ethan Archer, who was a winger who we'd sold to Luton in the summer. He was back with us on loan, but now he's gone to Luton. So we are a little bit weakened from what we've been in recent weeks. But even so, I still think that we will be competitive, and we will give you a game. I think it'll be a really good cup tie.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting game. Like you said, it's marred with a little bit of unfortunate that you've lost a few players that are out of your grasp. There's nothing you could do to stop them going anywhere. But you're probably still playing as at a reasonably good time, because one win is usually followed by 2 draws and 3 losses with Leicester. So we'll probably draw at least one of them, and with no replays, you'll probably win the penalty shootout. Just want to touch quickly on the transfer market. I know we're talking about the FA Cup game, but we are in that transfer window.
Yeah.
We've obviously, Leicester have only ever been into League One for a season, and it didn't really affect us to a great deal because of our financial structures as a club. I understand it to a degree from playing games, and I know that sounds ridiculous. How can a game compare to real life? But the way they structure Football Manager is through interviewing clubs, investigating it, and see how it works at the low divisions. So I know and understanding that you can have a player, and then 6 weeks later he's not your player because they call him back, or the free agent decides, I signed a 2-month contract, but now I'm going to go Doncaster showing like you've just lost a player there to a higher division side. Is this probably then a more, because Leicester fans are frustrated because our women's side, and again, I know it's not a particular interest to all fans, and I understand that, but our women's side have gone and made like 4 signings and two outs. They're doing transfer business. Granted, it's on a lesser scale in terms of value as a player, and I understand that. I do understand that, but they're still wheeling and dealing. We've not made any. In fact, we somehow knackered up a 35-year-old who knackered himself up a year before, and then Mikel Antonio, and we've cancelled a loanee. But would you say that actually, hold on a minute, you big boys, stop giving it all the whingy about not being able to spend more than 10 million? We're having players robbed off us after scoring a hat trick the week before. Is it really that?
It's a
people if you will a bit with the lower league.
I get what you're saying. It's a massive juggling act. That's what it is. It's a massive juggling act for a club like us. We had 7 loans for some of the season. 2 of them got injured and have gone back to their clubs.
Yeah.
We now, as I say, we had Ethan Archer, who was signed from Luton and now has gone back to Luton. Isaac Hutchinson's gone back to Bristol Rovers today. We had Jake Bickerstaff, who was on loan from Wrexham. We've now turned him into a permanent signing. So from 7 loanees, we're down to 2. So that gives Steve now maybe a little bit of scope in the loan market where he could possibly have a look at bringing in a couple of loans in the next few weeks. We did sign a player also today, George Nurse, who's a left-sided player, a left back, left centre half, left wing back from Shrewsbury, he's one of Steve's former players when he was at his former club, Shrewsbury. So it is very much a juggling act for a club like us. This FA Cup money that we've got, the prize money and the little bit of TV money for it being streamed on Discovery Plus is helpful. We have at the start of the season and last season, we had one of the smallest budgets in League Two. We would have been one of the 3 lowest budgets in League Two.
Yeah.
Since then, we have a new majority shareholder, a chap called Mike Garlick, who was the chairman of Burnley a few years back. He also owns a team in Spain and a team in Gibraltar. So Cheltenham Town are part of a multi-club ownership group. It's very, very exciting. Not really, but you know how it is. And him coming in, it's not made us super rich overnight, but what it might have allowed us to do is, while we were previously shopping in the corner shop, we might be able to go to Lidl or Aldi, instead of that, maybe even if we're really lucky, we might be able to go to Tesco's, So we're a little bit. We're what it's probably done is just made us a little bit more competitive at our level for bringing in players. But when you see players, apparently there's a player in League Two going from one League Two club to another League Two club, allegedly for £500,000. So that tells you we're not at that level. We won't be doing that. but there is a bit more scope, I think, now to bring in a few more players and just to bolster what we've got. And but it won't be we won't be chucking loads and loads of money around because that's just the nature of it. So I say we bought a player in today and we made a loan signing permanent today ahead of the game on Saturday. But having lost those other couple of players, it sort of balances it out a little bit, really. But it'll be interesting to see what he does on Saturday. The team, I don't think, will be much different from how it's been in our league games recently, bar those players, of course, that we've lost. So we do need to bring a few in. I'd say we probably and the fact that we've sort of shuffled around the loan signings a bit indicates that we will be able to do that. So, and of course, a win on Saturday and more prize money in round 4 would be another big help.
Yeah. It always helps, doesn't it, to have that extra bit of boost in income. And obviously, it affects clubs differently as it is. I just want to touch on the replays being scrapped. It's kind of, I don't know, I feel like it's 60-40 with the fans. Some love it. It's the tradition. Well, it was a built-in tradition with the FA Cup. It used to be a part of the League Cup as well when they had 2 legs in the early stages. That's obviously no longer a thing. First of all, what side of the fence do you sit on with the replays being scrapped? Do you see it? Are you one of them where you're like, oh, well, at least I have to try and find a Thursday night train to Bolton?
I think it's a bit rubbish, really.
Yeah, because financially, that's got to impact you. And in ever-growing modern-day football where the cost of everything is going up, it's not the cost of living, it's just the cost of everything's going up. You're talking, running costs, staff costs, and nothing's coming down to help support that. How detrimental is it?
I think it is. I think it is detrimental because you think about it. I think it was last year, wasn't it, when Tamworth played Tottenham? And I think they got a draw, didn't they? Or they nearly got. I think they drew after 90 minutes, didn't they? And it went to extra time and they lost. Yeah. But if they got a replay, of course, they'd have gone to Tottenham and they'd have made a heck of a lot of money. So I think when you get situations like that, and the thing I don't like is, it's the bigger clubs who are pushing it, and they say, oh, we play too many games, but then they naff off to Australia for pre-season tours and mid-season tours and all this sort of stuff.
Is what I have for them on that.
And when they're doing that, I think it negates the argument. I think it just totally and utterly negates their argument about replays when they're doing things like that. And they've got squads of 50, 60, 70 players, whereas Cheltenham have got a squad of 20. So it slightly negates the argument when you see that, and it does. I mean, for example, I think you've got Exeter at Man City this week. If they get a draw, they could have had a replay at home. It would be on the telly. And Exeter are a club in a little bit of with a few financial issues at the moment, and that's the sort of thing that could have helped them out. So I do think. I just think it's a bit rubbish, really, and it does detract from the competition. I feel it detracts from the competition because I wouldn't mind going to the King Power if we get a draw. It'd be good.
Yeah. Do you think that maybe the long-term effect of it could just see clubs that go? You get to the latter stages of the game, say you're 2-0 down. Most managers say take Saturday for example. You're 2-0 down, with 10 minutes to go. Leicester have taken off the big boys and maybe put on a few of the kids. Leicester fans would argue that's the better side, to be fair. But you look at that as an opportunity to go, okay, they're resting for next week. If we chuck everything at them, we could get it to 2-2. And then, or does your manager go, well, actually, we're not going to get a replay. I knack my lads out. We've got Wycombe at home, in the AFL Cup, which I'll let you have your bragging right in a minute about that. But you know what I mean? We've got Wycombe at home in the AFL Cup on Tuesday. Then we've got a league game on Saturday. I don't want to run my lads into the ground because. Okay, let's take the 2-0. Sit back.
I think you chuck at it because you've got extra time and there's always a chance of penalties, isn't there? I think you would chuck everything at it. Let me just answer that question there that Scott's put on about Sammy Braybrook. He says, "Have I been able to see Sammy Braybrook play? He played against us for Newport earlier in the season. Looked half decent. Did very, very well actually. He was one of their." Newport weren't very good when we played them. We beat them 2-0 and they were probably one of the poorest teams that I've seen in League Two this season. But Sammy Braybrook was their best player probably, and from what I'm told, he's gone to Chesterfield now, and from what I'm told, he was Chesterfield's best player in their game on Saturday. So he seems to be definitely somebody worth keeping an eye out. And he also asks, how many games could we have in one season, all cup games included? Well, 46 in the league. We would play at least 3 games in the EFL Trophy because we play 3 group games. We'll play a League Cup game and we'll play an FA Cup game at least. So at least 51 in a season, possibly more with... if we, like, for example, we only played 3 in the Virtue Trophy this year because we got knocked out. We played 2 in the League Cup this year because we got through the first round and lost to Cardiff. And this is our 3rd game in the FA Cup. So we played a few more. And
again, this is the argument that I make to the crybabies of the Man City managers and the fans and well, I know he's not there anymore, but Jurgen Klopp used to cry about it a lot. It's like, well, we play so many games. Well, you agree with half of them, but
then in the FA Cup they play a totally different team anyway.
Yeah, they play up until the quarterfinal.
You're not going to play, like, for example, if Man City play in the FA Cup, to play Exeter this week. Do you expect Haaland to play? Do you expect
it's going to be the
Reinders to play? Do you expect Cherky to play? Do you expect Bernardo Silva to play? I don't.
And even if they did, right, let's just say they did, right, and they'd have to go all the way in every competition.
Yeah.
They would still only just surpass what an average team will play in each season. 46 games in the lower leagues from Championship.
They only play 30. They play 38 in the Prem.
Yeah,
so it probably works out. I know they play quite a lot in the Champions League.
Yeah,
but not every player plays in every game.
Yeah,
I mean, there will be some players in our team who will play in every game.
Yeah, that's my point. Even then, like you said, all right, we got knocked out by Huddersfield, but you're talking potentially 3 extra games. So we're on 49 in the EFL Cup if you get to the 3rd round. You're then talking at least 1 more because of the FA Cup, a minimum. Mm-hmm. And obviously down in the lower leagues, you go through qualifiers. So it's more than that. It's 1st round, 2nd round. I'm talking like, I'm talking the same sort of thing as in, they don't come into the 3rd round of the FA Cup. They don't come into the 3rd round of the FA Cup. And I know that's the same for us.
I think you're looking at things like,
it's just ridiculous.
I think it's more for the non-league sides who get this far. For example, Macclesfield have got Crystal Palace this week. So if they were to draw with Crystal Palace at home, they're then denied the chance to go to Selhurst Park and get a replay and get really good money from gate receipts from all that, and that's money that could keep them going. Same with like Western Superman. I know they got Grimsby. It's not the most fantastic draw, but if they'd have got, they've got to the 3rd round, and it just, I think it's clubs like that and that are denied at the whim, and it's at the whim of the bigger clubs that to me is it just doesn't. But I'm afraid, and sadly enough, that's the way football's going because football is basically run by the big clubs and at the whim of the big clubs, and that sort of cartel, what they say goes. Sadly, so
sadly, Sadly, you are right, and it puts the question. This is something that will never happen, but this isn't like Champions League, where to a degree it only a Champions League, Europa League, and all that. Let's be honest, it only affects a select few, especially consistency. Right, consistently. So that's fine. They can have a vote on anything that goes on there. But for the FA Cup and for the League Cup, especially, I think it should be right. We're going to raise this point, and they can bring it up every year. They can bring it up every 5 years. It's up to them. Where they could say, "Do you want replays in this year's FA Cup?" 30 teams voted yes, 62 voted no. So we're not having replays. And you know what I mean? Let everybody have a vote. Where the manager puts a thing, yes or no, he gets his team together. It's a team thing. He gets all this, Cottrell says to you a lot, so do you want to have a replay this year? We'll vote yes or no. Yes, we obviously would love a replay. Man City go, no, we don't want to play 39 games this season because, woe is me, it's too many games. I think that's how decisions like that should be done. But as it is, we don't have that power.
No, we don't. So it's all going to be decided on the
big boys.
I'd also like to thank somebody there mentioned that Leicester have beaten Cheltenham 4-0 in the last 2 games against them. I'd like to thank you for bringing that up. That's very kind of them.
Go on, Mark. You remind the people of I
will remind you of the last competitive match between Cheltenham Town and Leicester City, which took place, in fact, very nearly exactly 9 years ago on the 10th of January 2017 in the EFL Trophy. And Cheltenham Town was 6-1 winners. It was a Leicester team that included Cedric Kipre, Hamza Chowdhury, and Harvey Barnes. So there were some pretty good players in that team.
Now, before you announce our goal scorer, right? There's a reason I'm holding you back on this one. For those of you in the comments, I'm gonna let Mark tell a bit about the game, but he's not going to say who our Leicester's goal scorer was. No. Pub quiz question for you. Bearing in mind you've just heard
Leicester City's goal.
Yeah. Bearing in mind you've heard Hamza Chowdhury and Harvey Barnes, there was a £14 million striker that scored for us in that game. Get your guesses in the comments. See if you know your information. Mark, how bad were Leicester that game, and how much did you enjoy the 6-1 victory?
It was good. We had a player playing that day, Diego Di Girolamo, his name was. He scored a hat-trick that day. Yes, and we managed to win 6-1. There was Ben Hamer started in goal for Leicester, but went off injured after half an hour. So that didn't help either. And we managed to win by 6-1. And we also did play a friendly against Leicester. Harry Maguire's last game for Leicester City was at Wadden Road.
Another pub quiz answer. There you go.
A friendly under Brendan Rodgers. That Leicester won by 2-1, and also one for people in the comments. Okay, which current Leicester City player played 1 minute on loan for Cheltenham Town? Which current Leicester City player played for 1 minute on loan for Cheltenham Town?
I'm going to try and think of that answer. We have had an answer for your quiz question. I'm going to tell you, Scott. I think we paid £25 million for Ian Acho, and it's not him.
It's incorrect.
Yes.
You mentioned another Cheltenham Town loan player earlier on in Mikhail Antonio, because he came on loan to Cheltenham, and we've had several players from Leicester in the past who've played for Cheltenham. Callum Wright was on loan with Cheltenham, did very, very well, scored 13 goals for us in 2 spells. We had James Wesolowski on loan from Leicester to Cheltenham. Unfortunately, broke his leg in his 3rd or 4th game. Did pretty well for us, actually, on loan. We had Johnny Hayes on loan from Leicester, the winger. He came on loan to Cheltenham, as did Nathaniel Rowe Turner. He was another one who came on loan, played 1 game in a 1-0 defeat at Tranmere, which is the same game that Wesolowski broke his leg in. So there are, and we've had quite a number of ex-Leicester players, obviously, with us, including Darren Kenton played for us. He's one. I'm just getting my list up here.
I'm just trying to think. Current players. Can I have a clue, as in period of when he was on loan at U4?
He was on loan to us in 2011.
Oof.
He was on loan to us in 2011. Of course, very young player at the time, as you would expect. But he was on loan then. Do you want me to tell you what club he was on loan for? Would that be another clue?
No. I will take a guess, and then you can give me the clue if that's wrong.
Okay.
I'm going to say that it was Yannick Vestergaard.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't him. No, I will give you the. I'll give you the club. The club he was on loan for was Bristol City. He came on loan from as a young player. So anybody in the comments who wants to have a go at that one as well? Which current Leicester player? We played 1 minute of a 3-0 win over Southend United. He came on as a sub for Qaid Mohammed in a 3-0 defeat. Also, we had I mentioned Josh De Bayo as well. He was another one who played for us. My son's just reminded me of that. Thank you very much.
God, he came from Bristol City.
He came from Bristol City on loan to Cheltenham, and he played for 1 minute.
And he's still in the Leicester current squad now.
He is. Let me just check if he. I just need to see if he played. I'll see if he played the other night. That might help you a bit more. I'll just look up the team that played Leicester against West Brom. Let me see. Did he play? Yes, he did. He started the game.
He started the game. It wouldn't have been Ricardo Pereira.
Nope.
Think of people who are in the age range to have been there. I mean, Hamza could have. But Bristol City, he was from our youth, so he wouldn't have been there. Not Ben Nelson, too young to be Ben Nelson. Not Luke Thomas, too young to be Luke Thomas. Not Ollie Skip. Surprisingly, despite looking 45,
well, it's not going to be Jeremy Monger either.
Jordan, are you then?
No, not Jordan. No. Who else have we got in that team? Who else was there?
James Skip, Ricardo Pereira, Akoli.
No. I think you've mentioned just about everybody but this player. Who was in that team?
Somebody help. Bobby D. Cordova-Reid.
There you go.
I was trying to get the age range because I could wipe out half the squad, but in my brain I was trying to pick a start. And wow, D. Cordova-Reid.
It was Bobby. He was just plain old. He was just plain old boring Bobby Reid then.
No, so he didn't have the D. Cordova by that point.
He hadn't thrown in the D. Cordova by that point. But yes, he came on loan as a young boy under Mark Yates and played 1 minute of a game against Southend United. Which is
a memorable game.
The joint shortest football league career for Cheltenham Town.
I'd love to know who the other guy is just on that basis.
But we still haven't got the £14 million striker. Anybody? No
one else has thrown a guess out of that. I'm surprised. You know what, Mark? They've had enough time. Let them know.
How many of you out there remember Bartosz Kapuczka?
Yeah, we try not to. That's why no one's guessed him, to be honest with you.
Bartosz Kapuczka.
What a play he was that nobody remembers.
I don't think he barely played for you, did he? And then I think he was very quickly sent off back to Poland or back to.
He went on loan. I think he did. He went on loan. He wasn't very good.
We all have these skeletons in our closet. I can tell you, we've got plenty of them.
Yeah, we actually have one infamous winger that played in the FA Cup and he got I believe his only goals for the club before he went out on a loan cycle and was eventually let go on his contract. He scored in I think it was the fourth round. It might be the third, but it wasn't too far in the competition. We played Peterborough away, and his name was Vicente Diabate. And everybody, as you do, you score a couple of goals on your debut or your second game on.
Always going to be brilliant. Always going to be brilliant.
Yeah.
We have players like that. I can tell you at Cheltenham as well, who we've seen for a couple of games. He's going to be fantastic, and then no, this doesn't.
Am I thinking right as well that you can call me wrong here? I think Scott's about 7 hours behind the actual stream because he's just gone Harry Winks out of absolute nowhere. I don't think he's watched. I think he's probably got it on a pause or catch up. Because, unless I'm going to come over a future. Yeah, which player do Leicester fans currently hate the most at the club? There you go.
That's it.
You had Barry Hales as well at Cheltenham.
Yes, we had Barry Hales. Yes, we had Barry Hales. We also had Aaron Ramsey. He was a lone player.
He's injured.
I know he's injured. Yeah. We had.
Was he injured for you as well, by any chance?
No. He came on loan from Villa and he scored once, and we didn't. Again, he was another one who we had. Yeah, we had Elvis Hammond played for us. He's another
Leicester
player. He played for us. The goalkeeper Russell Holt. He was at Cheltenham as well. So there've been a few. There have been a few that we've had who've played in the blue and then come and salvage their careers in the red and white.
Oh, there you go. Then speaking of, we should probably now wrap back round to the actual game in question because we had a reminiscence quiz.
About everything else, and now we might as well talk about what we're actually here for, the game.
Yeah, I usually do when I do these shows. I haven't done many over Christmas as a busy work period and schedules, but usually what I would do is a true or false thing here, but I haven't got one prepared because I've been so out of practice I haven't got it, and usually I do a little clever segment where I name an ex-player, but you sound like a human fact file of statistics bringing out all the ex-players.
Sorry about that.
It's all right. I love it. We always love a guest that's got lots of information and even surprises us with some of the things.
Well, it's also, as I don't know how many of your viewers would know very much about Cheltenham Town. Anyway, my son is actually a student at Leicester University, so I am hoping that he is spreading the Cheltenham gospel around Leicester, but I actually think what he's actually doing is trying every pub and club in Leicester. He's doing that instead. So there you are.
He probably is. Although if he waits for Leicester to lose, probably try and do both. Go out on a Cheltenham shirt on a night out, you might get some more supporters that way.
He might not be, if Cheltenham win on Saturday, it might not be safe for him to wear his Cheltenham shirt around Leicester in the next few weeks.
No, to be honest with you, if that does happen, a lot of Leicester fans will probably come up and shake his hand, especially if
he well done. He might save him a bit of money on beer.
Local hero. Scott, I don't know what dimension you're in, but you did get the answer, but only about 45 minutes late, and now you've just mentioned a young Polish striker.
Yeah, there you go.
Which is him. You are right, Scott, but I don't know if there's maybe you've got one live and one behind, and you're typing on the one that's behind to try and make a sync. I don't know. Well done, Scott, if you are watching on catch up and you've not quite caught up yet. So the magical time is a couple of days away.
Yeah.
We're hoping the bad weather that's incoming doesn't turn this into a postponed fixture, and that we do get to see it because, like you said, it's on. Yes, it's on Discovery Plus, and yes, Anthony, we know you support any team in red or half red, so we know he's back in Cheltenham for this because he's like a special person. We have to look after him and humour him, you see, when he comes in, this Anthony. He says he's a Bristol City fan, but really, like he says there, any team that plays in red. Obviously, you'll be hoping for the upset. I'm going to ask you then quickly, how are Cheltenham going to go about causing the upset? and give us your score prediction to follow, or give us a penalty shootout prediction if you think it's going to go all that way.
Like I said earlier, I think a lot of it is going to come down to the strength of the Leicester side and the attitude of the Leicester side. Like I say, the ground is going to be full. The fans will be right there. It's quite tightly packed. I can't wait to see Whaddon Road full because it's something that we don't see very often. We've had pretty good crowds over Christmas, but nothing like this. And it's going to be. I think it's going to be a fantastic atmosphere. I think our fans will definitely be up for it, and I know that Steve Cottrell will have our players up for it. And if Leicester come in with the right attitude, then they should win the game, and that's how it is, and that I think that's how it goes. But I do think we've got a chance. I seriously, and I'm not just saying that as because I want.
Trust me, we all think you've got a chance.
I seriously do, though. I seriously think we've got a chance. If you wanted me to have a score prediction,
I would.
And on our podcast, which is the Robins Report, which hopefully will be out soon for people to listen to ahead of the game, looking back on our last two games and ahead to this game, I said 1-1 and Cheltenham win on penalties. So, and I'm not going to change that. So I think I'm going to stick with that. I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw, and Cheltenham will win on penalties.
And we would not be surprised if that happens. Scott has gone, in all honesty, by this season's performances, will probably be 3-0 down at half time.
Good optimism, Scott.
You've pretty much summed us up, because we're either 3-0 up or 3-0 down, especially in recent weeks. And unfortunately for Leicester fans, well, we've been 3-1 up against Derby, but then we've been 3-1 down against Sheffield United, 3-0 down against Sheffield United.
The impression I'm getting then, Brad, is that you don't know what Leicester team is going to turn up. And that is where we are, isn't it? Like I say, if that's why, like I said, it comes down to attitude, doesn't it? It comes down to frame of mind, attitude. Are the players going to be up for it? Because if your players are up for it, then you should win. And if they're not up for it, then you could be in trouble. And I think that is, and I think it all hinges on that.
Yeah. Well. What would happen? Or you would go say that would
there'll be an upset and us win.
Well, yeah, I mean it could be. That would be the upset. It's a bit like Man U, isn't it? When they win a game, it's the little old Manchester have won. It would be probably upset during our season. A comfortable victory is assured for Cheltenham at this rate.
There's a lot of gallows humour going on around here.
Yeah, well, it's the only way we keep ourselves sane, because if we didn't, we'd be taking a long walk off short piers watching Leicester. Trust me, this season. Having said that, because I'm completely backwards in the brain, I'm going to go 3-0 Leicester and hope and pray that we actually have a comfortable win, and then I'll wake up and realise that we got knocked out on penalties 3-0. And so that's ever the optimist. That's how it goes. It's going to be a packed house. Are you going down, Mark? Are you
I will be part of the commentary team for BBC Gloucestershire on Saturday.
He was going to say part of the Cheltenham baby squad. He's going to start rostering a few. But no, lovely. BBC Gloucestershire.
Yeah, I'll be part of the commentary team on BBC Gloucestershire. I do the games. I do all their games home and away. So I'll be part of that on Saturday. Looking forward to that very much indeed. And like I say, for our club, I mean, this is a big occasion for our club. I mean, we don't reach the third round very often. We reached the fifth round under Steve Cottrell in his first spell. We lost at West Brom rather unluckily. Now we've had some good times. We played Newcastle at home with Alan Shearer up front. We played Everton at home. We went to Tottenham when Harry Redknapp was the manager. So we've had a few we've had a few good days in the FA Cup, and we've had some terrible ones because we've lost to Dover, we've lost to Tamworth, we've lost to Maidstone United. So we've had some bad days and we've had some good days. But this is an occasion where I think people are looking forward to in the town. Like I say, it's sold out, which is something that I'm really excited about, and I think it just shows that our club has got some potential. And days like this, I mean, they don't come around very often. So for our club, it is a big game. I mean, Leicester City are a big club coming to our ground. Everybody at the club is looking forward to the game, and we'll give it a go and we'll see what happens, Brad. I think that's all I can say, really.
Yeah. I mean, I facetiously say that we're not looking forward to it. I am looking forward to it. It's a different occasion. I know sometimes it can be the nail in the coffin with managers, but honestly, given the West Brom result and the fact that despite everything, we're not a million miles off the playoff, I don't see this being a case of if you lose, you're out sort of thing. So we might as well enjoy the occasion. Maybe having, a game where the manager goes, look, get your stride going, get get everything going and put on a good performance. You're damned if you do, damned if you don't. From our perspective, we beat Cheltenham. Well, it's Cheltenham, and if you lose to Cheltenham, typical Leicester losing to a low league side. Let's hope it's an entertaining game. We'll get 2 goals late on and kill off Cheltenham comeback. Oh, like I said, you'll probably beat us on penalties. There's only 2 ways I see it going. Mark, just before I let you go, because you've been a brilliant guest, just let everybody know, because you mentioned your podcast earlier and the fact that you're going to be on BBC Gloucester. I'm going to give you the big screen. Let people know where they can find you and see your content.
Yes, say at Mark Halliwell 1 on X. I'm part of the team which does the Robins Report podcast, which is on all of your favourite podcast channels. The next episode we recorded earlier this week hopefully will be out in the next day or so. Looking forward to the game against Leicester, and I will be part of the commentary team on Saturday for BBC Radio Gloucestershire, and as it's the FA Cup, commentary will be available online on BBC Sounds and on things like that, which, as it's an FA Cup tie, it can be heard online for a change, which league games can't. So that's me, and I'm looking forward to the game. Good luck it'd be great to see all the Leicester fans who come down to the game, and really looking forward to the game, and hopefully it'll be a great atmosphere, and everybody will have a good day, and it will be a good cup tie.
Well, there you go, folks. Go and check out the podcast. And obviously, if you are travelling to the game and you enter Gloucester, you've loved hearing Mark's wonderful voice today and all his facts and knowledge that I'm sure he will save some for the radio. Make sure you tune your radios in, or, as he said, it's online as well if you want to listen to it. Because sometimes, we don't like our own commentators. So maybe you prefer to listen to Mark boasting about Cheltenham going 3-0 up inside 7 minutes. Who knows? It's been Leicester Till I Die TV. This has been the FA Cup preview. Thanks to my guest tonight, Mark, for a wonderful for coming on and being so wonderful as a guest. And I would wish you good luck on Saturday, but I'd be lying. But after Saturday, do whatever you like in the league. I hope you get them 10 points to catch up to the playoffs. And, well, as long as our season to go too bad, we might not see you next year, but maybe the year after we can see you in the Championship, which I'm sure we'll still be faffing around in, knowing our luck. Mark, thanks for having us on. Thanks for coming on, buddy. I will get my words right tonight. I will get them right. Thanks for coming on. It's been a pleasure coming on. And until the watch along at 12:15, I think that's the kickoff time, is it, Mark? Help me out.
12:15 kickoff, yeah.
So I'm pretty sure Chris will come live at about 11:45. Until next time, it is good night from me, and we'll see you then. And as always, come on, you foxes. Night, everybody.
Thanks for watching. These videos are tremendous. You better like them too, or I'll be back.
This podcast is proud to be part of the TalkSport Fan Network.
TalkSport. Powered by fans.
That will conclude this evening's entertainment.